The call of our time is to open the range of full human possibilities. The incessant freneticness and the busyness of our life has become a defense system against depth. Human connection is on the way out as we know it. Our institutions, education, business, medicine, the humanity is on its way out. And yet we are not machines. We are made as loving beings with compassion, kindness, generosity, and equanimity. And yet we trade mystery for mastery. Mastery of ourselves in attempts to be perfect, to live up to our rules and standards, to appear like somebody special, to win attention, to win competitions, to individuate. And all this leads back to our sense of isolation and despair. And all the consumerism is a mask to the longing that we have for connection. And yet we define ourselves by what we do, by what we have, and by what we own, and what others think. We spend money and time and resources that we don't have on things that we really don't need, trying to impress people that we don't like. And what does this do for us? It makes us helpless, powerless. It keeps us frustrated with an attempt to find happiness out of the discontentment. Today, 3 people are dying at their own hands in suicide, compared to 1 that is dying at the hands of another. That means 3 people are killing themselves to 1 person going to war. We have a spiritual crisis. Today, our ecological divide is continuously worsening. We are using 1.5 Earths. And if China and India continue to grow in their populations, that'll soon be 2 to 3 times the Earth's carrying capacity for resources. By next year, 2020, over 2 billion people on the planet will be without clean drinking water. These are the defining features of your invitation to lead, to claim leadership for the noble idea, not trying to change the world, but understanding that what you're doing is right. And there's nothing greater than our business institutions and the leaders that guide them and the lives they touch, the internal people, the team, and the external customers. This institution is the dominant lever for creating a nexus of change in the world, a network of change that can spread from the business institution throughout the ecological system, the education system. Help us with our spiritual crisis by developing our sense of purpose, to be in service to something, to be able to renew ourselves with the self-knowledge that we need, to learn a path of creating. Not a path of being a victim, not a path of reaction and response, but the path of being a creator who chooses to bring creations into the world because they matter. To bringing back the humanity in all we do. The best creations start with love. And to see is to love. To envision is to see. And to envision the kind of impact and difference that we can see in ourselves making, awakens the quality of us, a gift, our place to take in the ecosystem of life. This starts with a shift of mind. One-on-one. The mindset, the mental models, the constructs, these are the places out of which creations come. Because out of these places, when we open our mind and become comfortable with our own ignorance, we become changed. We become changeable by what we see, by what astonishes us, moves us, amazes us, challenges us to draw forth the resources, the ones that are in us and the ones that are not yet in us. And these resources are not yet embodied, they are emergent, and they are possible by being in the world, seeing what's going on in the world, bringing our best attention to the world, without having to know how to figure everything out. This requires collective leadership. Leadership that is based on we. Not me, not for what I want, but what I want to give. Because my compassion capital matters. Claiming leadership is about staying longer and listening deeper. It's about clarifying through the understanding of very complex situations. The complexity that we obtain through the life that's here. It means we let go of judgment. We sense how deep our cynicism goes in avoiding pain or being hurt or taken advantage of, and not armoring our hearts, but rediscovering ourselves in the understanding that we can draw forth to hold space and to legitimize every other as a legitimate other. We have this innate capacity. Despite our fear, taking risks, taking chances, being a little bit more dangerous in our care and concern for the world, and let go of knowing how to create something by first saying yes and then learning how. This tender-hearted bravery is the kind of leadership, the organic leadership, that is needed in the world. And this kind of leadership is what draws our convictions to coach leaders into this space. We like to think of ourselves as bringing great leaders to organizations, great leaders to home life, great leaders to children as parents, great leaders to friends and others in relationship to them, and great leaders who respect the earth, great stewards of the earth. Mother Earth is asking for this in its song. You look everywhere and you can sense the signs and the symptoms that something in the air needs to stop. There's something happening behind the scenes that we all know is just not right. We can see it, we can see the symptoms. But to turn our faces to it would truly be a neglect. We just cannot. So I ask you, in listening to me from your heart, from your soul, if you have a listening and I have a dog whistle, and I'm saying something that you can hear because you're meant for this invitation, maybe you're the leader that is ready to be coached. To be coached to a level where you can learn how to create more effectively what matters to you out of the love that you are. To build enterprises that don't steal the humanity from people, but create unforced spaces for people to become more of themselves. To become learners rather than performers. To apply their gifts in the direction of the organization so they can fulfill their own self-efficacy in the lanes of what really matters to them by personally choosing what matters to the organization. By become whole life integrated, by participating in the wholeness of life and not just the identity of the working person, but to attend to as a great creator and integrator of all aspects of life that really bring us whole, and to socially develop our quality of relationships, because our relationships are what bring us whole. It is the juice of life. And to this, I see a great prosperity zone, a prosperity zone that combines an integrated way between personal performance, enterprise growth, whole life integration, and social development. Just think, by integrating these four, by creating and relating and earning and being in the world, who you would be. And think about what you could offer as a high-quality, high-caliber human being in these ways, these disciplines, of really pulling it all together. Margaret Mead, great anthropologist, always said that it only takes just a few people to change the world. And in fact, if you look throughout history, that's exactly what's happened. Thank you.